Hello, everyone. I am honored to be among you. All of you are uh, excellent experts, and this is my first time participating with you, and I have benefited a lot. I would like to thank Dr. Sam and Dr. Amin for this opportunity, and hopefully we raise up to your standards. Before I begin, my name is Mrs. Abid Casey. I work on celiac allergy, and I myself suffer from that. But before we begin, I want to ask you if you are aware of the celiac. How many of you know about it? Please raise your hand. So we're talking about less than half. So I will not take much longer of your time, but I will talk about the organization and about the celiac. The association was established at the end of 2018, and we are the only association which has the accreditation of the Association of European Celiac Societies. I would like to thank the US partners who have directed us to obtaining this accreditation. We are our administrative board consists of nine elected members, of whom are either celiac patients or have children who suffer that. In 2018, we established the association. In 2019, we started our affiliation, and we launched a humanitarian project with the Jordanian Armed Forces. Our liaison point was Dr. Sam, and we're sponsored by the Jordan Armed Forces. In 2020, there were lockdowns everywhere because of COVID-19. However, we did not cease to work. We have distributed 2,800 kilograms of gluten-free flour. In 2021, we had partnerships and cooperation agreements with governmental institutions. And now in 2022, we gathered 17 Arab countries to cooperate and to have a similar initiative or a syndicate for celiac patients in the Arab world. Our collaboration with the armed forces were through the military armed forces laboratories, which provided gluten-free tests for free or pro bono. We also had an awareness raising campaign on celiac. In addition to the fact that seven defense volunteers helped us in delivering the products, and the military consumers establishment helped us also to provide these products in other areas than the capital. Generally speaking, in Jordan, the army is not something we fear. On the contrary, they are very dear to our hearts and very close to us. So they in the first Eid after Corona, they distributed gluten-free wheat among the citizens. We also work on raising awareness, and we make regular visits to rural areas where we meet with newly diagnosed patients, and we teach them how to make traditional foods with gluten-free ingredients. We recently appointed a representative in most of the cities in Jordan so that they can help patients find where they can find the gluten-free products. Also, we are holding workshops about celiac disease in universities and hospitals. We had also held an awareness campaign for people with disabilities in collaboration with the Higher Council for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities using Braille language. We have also issued a digital subscription card with a QR code that is sent by SMS. And we ask them to fill in the information and provide us with a medical report to prove that they are celiac patients. And then we send a QR code so that they can receive discounts in different supermarkets, hospitals, and um, we have also created cartoon characters for the awareness. This is the gluten. This is the glutino, our gluten character, and we identified the glutino, hidden glutino, and the gluten free. Regarding the celiac, since not everyone knows what celiac is, I'm not a doctor, but I have celiac, and it is a an inherited disease. We have families whose sons and daughters have this celiac disease, and this is why we need to not consume foods with the gluten. Otherwise, we will suffer the ramification
فعلا.
consumption. We focus on the gluten-free because once gluten is digested, it affects uh, people who are diagnosed and it affects the absorption of some minerals. We also have the wheat allergy, which is someone who has reactions to all types of wheat and not only to gluten. In Jordan, we have about 250,000 celiac disease patients, which is about 1.5 to 2%. In Algeria and Tunisia, the number amounts to 7%. So we're talking about a large amount of people, but the diagnosis is about 1%. During this year, we managed to register 5,000 patients or diagnose them. So this is like the tip of the iceberg. As per the signs and symptoms, they are very different, and abroad they call it the chameleon because the symptoms and signs are very different. It could be, for example, um, migraines, apathy, headache, joint pain, hyperactivity, diarrhea, constipation, and others. So they are varied symptoms and signs, and people could have celiac without realizing it. For me, I lived for 20 years with the celiac disease. I have been suffering since I was 14, and I was diagnosed at the age of 37. So we're talking about a large deal of suffering because people might be moving from one section to another, trying to diagnose. Sometimes they can even conduct surgeries and remove the gallbladder or other organs before they manage to diagnose them with celiac disease. As for the risk factors, we have the Down syndrome, the Addison's disease, and the type 1 diabetes. We have also other autoimmune diseases such as thyroid. I have Hashimoto, for example, and celiac. We have Addison disease and type 1 diabetes. Unfortunately, type 1 diabetes and celiac are on the same gene. So a large number of children would have type 1 diabetes and celiac. When it comes to complications, in the past, they used to ask us, for example, what do you get? Do you have a rash? No, we can have cancer, lymphoma cancer, miscarriages. We have women who suffered of miscarriages for 11 or 13 years before they were diagnosed. We also have malnutrition, bone weakening among children. We have also epilepsy, and after which they were diagnosed with celiac, malnutrition for pregnant women, which can cause autism in their children. A lot of complications might be avoided if the diagnosis is done at the right time. This is the distribution of patients by age group. As you can see on the screen, The age of patients is between 14 to 25 years who have celiac but are not yet diagnosed, so they do not know. As per the complication, 25% have the thyroid, 12.5% epilepsy, 7.8 osteoporosis, 8% anemia, 5.5 dermatology, 4.9 cancer, and 36% diabetes. And as I said to you, people suffer for a long time before they are diagnosed. Unfortunately, so far there are no treatments and there are no studies to treat celiac. Currently, there are 3 studies, but none of them is validated to be considered as a treatment. So we need to follow a long life, gluten-free, strict diet. And when I say strict, this means that the cross-contamination should be avoided. I did not used to eat with you, if you have noticed during these 2 days, and the chefs used to bring me food here to avoid cross-contamination. So this deprives individuals from participating in events. In addition to the complications, we have social complications, and individuals might suffer from or become introvert and refrain from participating in social events. We would like to thank Gismo that Jordan, in Jordan we have a standard that is under voting, and now engineer Nisma maybe can tell us its pending endorsement. Also, the JFDA, our colleagues, have created lots of effort. We had a program. We worked with them, and we extracted a large number of products which are claimed to be gluten-free but appear to have gluten. Also, we collaborated with military laboratories. Now we are currently calling the Ministry of Health to consider celiac as an ailment and to provide the celiac test because it is not available in public hospitals. Among our network, we had a meeting with the former Ministry of Tourism to make sure that if there is a guest in hotels who is a celiac a patient, how they can prepare a meal for them. These are also the Arab countries with whom we've worked, and hopefully we can solicit efforts to achieve our objectives. As per the challenges in general faced by celiac patients, there is no official record for celiac disease. Also, there are very high taxes on gluten-free items. For example, you can pay $10 per one manhusha, and then you eat it, and it has gluten. So you're paying for a gluten-free product, and it appears that it has gluten. Also, there are no financial aids from the government to the celiac patients. And the most difficult challenge is that there is lack of awareness about celiac disease in the medical field. When we talk with doctors, they tell us that we will not hear from you. Maybe the US FDA can contact us or the Ministry of Health. So a doctor might say that to a celiac patient that since your tests are okay, you can have a free day, which is not okay. Sometimes the doctors can tell the patients that they have recovered, and then that they can consume gluten products. We need to also differentiate between wheat allergy and gluten or celiac, sorry, disease, because celiac disease is an immune hereditary disease. This is the logo for the gluten free. As you can see, sometimes the gluten-free logo is misused, and you don't know how come that it's gluten-free but is made of wheat flour. Unfortunately, most of the mothers do not read the ingredients, but they look at the logo of the gluten-free and they take it and give it to their children. So this is a big challenge that we're facing. In addition to that, unfortunately, we have laboratories that test foods And we want to uh, to tell that to Dr. Samuel. Sometimes these laboratories are not validated, and they test the foods and then give the results. Uh, in addition to that, there is no compliance from the enterprise which produce food commodities, and they cannot differentiate between the ingredients. So what they might tell us is that gluten is vegetarian. Um, and they do not differentiate between gluten and gelatin. This is one of the biggest universities in uh, Jordan. As you can see, they stated that the patient suffers from wheat allergy in Arabic, and between brackets, they wrote celiac disease in English. And they also stated that the patient suffers from bone weakening, and they contributed that to the wheat sensitivity or allergy. And this is not accurate because osteoporosis or bone weakening could be attributed to celiac disease. So we need to make sure we differentiate between wheat allergy and celiac disease, and not use the titles interchangeably. As per the proposed solutions, it is to enhance the awareness and education, be it through mass media or social media, to also target specific groups and to develop educational materials. In English, I'm sure there is educational materials, but in Arabic, we lack these educational materials. We also need to improve the accessibility to the gluten-free products. As I told you, most of the gluten-free products are available in the capital city rather than in other governorates. We also need to strengthen regulations and enforce them. We do not want only a standard. We want a standard and a technical base or foundation, and we want punishments for those who dare to produce products and claim they are gluten-free when they are not. Uh, Remember how much children who suffer from celiac disease are going through. They cannot go to the supermarket, buy gluten-free products, and they cannot participate in social events. And then when they do find gluten-free products and pay high costs for them, it appears that they do have gluten. So we need to focus on the credibility of these producers. Also, we need to have testing mechanisms rather than the ELISA and the other traditional testing methods. So we need to make sure that products that have the gluten-free logo to actually be gluten-free. And since we are a member of the AOCS, there will be a meeting for the gluten committee requesting the AOCS to include the definition of celiac within the gluten-free standard. It usually is referred to as to people who suffer from gluten intolerance, but this is not merely intolerance, it is a disease. We also hope that we enhance the collaboration. Our colleagues from Egypt and other countries, those who are responsible for standards and metrology, to communicate with committees responsible for the celiac disease. uh, it is very important that you communicate with them and to make the celiac societies feel and sense that you understand their struggle. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Abida. Is there any question, Dr. Khalid? Thank you very much. First of all, I wish you all the best. I wish you health and good returns from God. You said that at the age of 14, you started to struggle, and then 20 years later, you were diagnosed with a celiac disease. What were the indicators, or what are the indicators that could clarify to us that we have celiac disease, or that people at young ages might be celiac patients? You also mentioned that the celiac disease is not a wheat allergy. Could you please repeat that part? I said that the celiac is like a chameleon. It changes color. For me, for example, I suffered diarrhea. Some people have constipation. I also suffered from ferritin, low ferritin levels. And as I told you, since the celiac disease is an immune disease, uh, once we consume something with gluten, we will suffer other things and there will be complications. I was also diagnosed with Hiroshima, hypothyroid. Every time I was admitted into a hospital, they used to tell me that they will remove the gallbladder or other organs, and I used to refuse that. Thank God I still have all my organs. It also could cause um, it could cause problems among women related to low levels of ferritin or iron in their blood. Also, osteoporosis or bone weakening. Children are, for example, suffer from fractions every time they fall down. They could be celiac patients. When it comes to wheat allergy, if you test it, you will test the IgE, which is something similar to the fish allergy, lactose allergy, eggs or sesame allergy. It is TTGA and TTGIE. And there needs to be a biopsy from the small intestines to have an accurate diagnosis.
Thank you very much. You have in the presentation you have said that the test conducted in the food items among the issues that you suffer from. You said that the label might state the product is gluten-free, but during the while conducting the test, you would find that it has a gluten, and also uh, y- uh, and in the presentation you said that it's a problem. It's up to the societies and the charities to, sorry, the societies to produce food items that are gluten-free. And do you think the during the production process, can you ensure or guarantee they follow the safety and health standards in order to avoid cross-contamination? Uh, Dear colleague, our representatives in the governorates usually direct people where to buy gluten-free products. Our societies do not produce any food items that are gluten-free. However, we usually provide free boxes full of food items that are gluten-free, and also we communicate with the supermarkets in order to sell gluten-free items, which are mostly imported, and also they help us in the distribution of the food packages or boxes. Dr. Tamader, go ahead with your question. Thank you very much. First, may God bless every patient. And late King Hussein has used to say that human beings are the most precious asset our country, and this means that the government needs to provide the best options or the optimal options for its citizens. And thank God, I believe that you have found the right path, because my sister-in-law is a celiac patient, and her body is suffering a lot. And I believe that you have been shown the right pathway at an early stage, because your body looks healthy, not like the regular celiac patient. I believe that during the while communicating with the governmental institutions, we need to provide accurate definition of the symptoms and the causes of the celiac disease, because some people are intolerant by different ratios. Some people are zero intolerant and others are less intolerant. This means that not everybody are at the same level. And usually we work on prioritizing our cases. Jordan is not among the countries that suspected to have celiac patients, and now due to while Jordan authorities forced conducting certain tests in order to detect this kind of allergies and to communicate with the. And I would like to stress here that Jordan is almost empty of cases of gluten allergy, almost, not totally empty. Maybe we can encourage the manufacturers to produce gluten-free products. And I believe the steps Jordan is following are in the right pathway. And there is a misconcept that some people think that these traces might not have an impact, but no, on the contrary, they will surely have an impact. And also, we need to develop a standard, and the efforts exerted by the group that conducted this kind of work is highly appreciated, to be able to help the celiac patients. And as control agencies, we are keen to collect data related to allergens. And I believe after COVID-19, people started to develop new types of allergies that they did not experience before COVID-19 pandemic. However, we are still in the journey. We didn't reach the end of the journey. And and maybe we need to amend our standards in order to reach our objectives. Thank you very much. We had an experience in Lebanon with celiac disease, but we did not offer any recommendations. What you have said is quite important. I don't know, maybe I have missed a piece of information regarding the additives, which is quite important. The glutamate, the sodium glutamate shouldn't be taken. And if we wanted to describe a standard, we needed to consider certain standards regarding the additives, because some preservatives, some of them have gluten. And there was an article published on the 24th of February 2024 called on food additives 5581. Food additive, which is silicon dioxide, which is associated with celiac. What do you know about this issue? Because in my opinion, it's quite important. According to the article, the food additive 5581 can promote or may promote celiac disease. Regarding additives, it's not only 5581, but also E174, and also caramel and in awareness campaigns, we target faculties of medicine and faculty of pharmacy. We tell them that regarding certain prescriptions and such as a flagyl drug that has gluten and the starch and cornstarch might have a gluten. If the cornstarch is grinded on or in a place that had previously processed wheat, it might or it may contain gluten as well, which may promote celiac disease or increase. Thank you very much for your blessed efforts, and may God grant you with health. In the Sultanate of Oman, we are currently working on how to encourage the production of gluten-free products. And what are the alternatives to wheat? Maybe you can provide a list of alternatives that we can share with the specialized personnel. And I believe that awareness should not only offered to restaurants or supermarkets, but also inside households. I like the slide that you showed regarding raising awareness and also encouraging producing food items inside the households. Maybe if you can share your slides with us, we would really appreciate it. And also regarding the draft standard, can you share with us any details? I believe all the information within our position, we are glad to share it with you. And also, we are keen to establish networks or to in Oman. As for the alternatives, everything that God had created is in general gluten-free. However, when a food gets a process such as dried fruits, they add a starch, it becomes with gluten. And regard instead of wheat, you can have rice, but still, if it's processed rice, then it's not gluten-free. And regarding, there is something called dukhan. Do you know what dukhan is? It's millet. Dukhan is a type of seeds that is eaten by or given to birds. However, if dukhan is used in gluten-free products, might it have an impact or reduce the absorption of thyroxine? Some producers might use it in order to be alternative for wheat. The same thing for corn and rice, because it comprises a high percentage of starch. So again, everything that God had created or anything in nature is almost gluten-free. But once it's implanted near oat farms, it might contain a gluten, or once it gets processed, it may also contain gluten. In Egypt, we have a special standard for gluten-free food items. Maybe we can share them with you in Jordan so that you can benefit from. I couldn't hear the speaker. Anyway, I believe this is an important issue for all of us. Why don't we propose to draft a standard at a regional level, and maybe it is there, it's in the Codex. Are you sure? I had no idea. I apologize, I had no idea. So in this case, I apologize. I had no worry. Forget what I said. Dr. Maha, can you please turn off the microphone? Thank you very much. Rima, go ahead. Thank you very much. Of course, we are happy in the military laboratories in the Jordanian armed forces that we are an indirect part of this initiative, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. We were happy to offer help because usually we look at the patients as our sons and sisters and daughters and brothers. And so the work is still ongoing regarding drafting a standard. And I hope to interact with the Syria patients the way we treat patients who suffer from blood sugar or and also in the also maybe on the label, maybe we should indicate that this product is not suitable for celiac patients. She said it is already in place. And I believe that the price, on the other hand, the prices of gluten-free products is quite high, and the quantity is quite low. Thank you very much.